Welcome everyone to the 10 January 2024 EFMP Connect. Today's conversation will be 2024 Roadmap for EFMP Families. Our speakers for today will be Ms. Tammy Hearn, Director, EFMP Central Cell Air Force Personnel Center. Ms. Ashley Martinez, EFMP Respite Care Liaison, Medical Branch, EFMP Central Cell. Technical Sergeant Christina Clutter, NCOIC, EFMP Medical Ops. Staff Sergeant Jan Ray Santiago, EFMP Assignment Navigator. Without further ado, Ms. Hearn, over to you, ma'am.
Well, good afternoon, EFMP families and stakeholders. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us as we walk through a quick roadmap for EFMP families. You know, family readiness is a huge part of our commitment as Department of the Air Force families. And so certainly within the Department of Air Force, there are a variety of different programs that help families be ready, be prepared, right? So what we wanted to do today was just talk a little bit about family readiness and some things that you can do in the calendar year 2024 to make sure your family is ready. Whether you're waiting for a PCS this year, maybe your active duty spouse is in the bucket for a deployment. Maybe you just arrived at a new location and you are getting involved in the local community. Certainly providing you with some tips, reminders of the programs that we have out there will help you as you navigate your journey as a military family. EFMP is not often thought of a mission-ready type program, but absolutely being ready is part of who we are as military families. And there are quite a few resources for our families out there. But the EFMP program truly exists, and enrollment is mandated by Congress simply to ensure that the Department of the Air Force does care for our exceptional family members and make sure that that specialty care, whether it's educational or medical specialty care, is available for our families at the current station they are, as well as when we ask them to PCS around the globe. Family readiness is certainly important. We want to connect you with your leaders, with the helping agencies and other families, again, as you navigate any challenges or just navigate that look for the right resource for your family. EFMP, as I mentioned, is congressionally mandated. Enrollment occurs when a physician finds that there is specialty care needed for either a child or a spouse, a dependent of that military sponsor, or educational needs are identified by the school system, right? So if there are special education needs, we certainly want to ensure that should the Air Force ask you to serve overseas, that we know those needs and that we can get DODEA, the Department of Defense Education Agency, to review to ensure that those special education needs can be met in the overseas area. Believe it or not, disenrollment is possible. So many families struggle to believe that disenrollment is possible, but I'll tell you, certainly disenrollment occurs when that condition no longer exists or has reached a point of stability, and the PCM or pediatrician, or maybe that specialist, believe that now the member can be seen at without that specialist. So disenrollment is possible. Disenrollment process is out on MyVector. Your special needs coordinator at the installation level is your POC to discuss enrollment and disenrollment. Installation support is very important in your journey, realizing that there are several different points of contact on a base that can help you in various areas of support. We certainly have family support coordinators who assist you as they look for community resources to help you and your family. We have the medical POC, point of contact, which is your special needs coordinator. They sit in the military treatment facility and help with all things medical. And finally, your military personnel flight is there to assist with PCS orders and that time of relocation. Our SLOs, please let me not forget our school liaison officers. They are also a key member in that base level support system to help you in your education needs. Reassignment screening is done. You know, many of you will receive an assignment, and this family member travel screening process comes about as one of your many to-dos. That reassignment screening is done again to ensure that if you already have an identified specialty care need, that we can meet it at the gaining location. But it also identifies maybe some family members who have specialty care needs and they're seeking that care, but have not yet been enrolled into the EFMP program. So this reassignment screening is done to ensure that we have the folks enrolled that need to be, so we can do the screening check for availability of resources. We always want to ease your transition. PCSing is never easy. There is quite a long list of actions that we take as a family to prepare to move to a new location. And so your family support coordinator, as well as your special needs coordinator, they work very hard to have that warm handoff to the gaining location, so that gaining location is prepared for your family's arrival, and that a needs assessment can be done quickly, and we can then get you partnered with the community resources that your family needs to be immersed into that community, to get your family quickly transitioned into school, into the healthcare system, and any other community programs. Next slide. At the installation level, again, boy, connecting families, that's truly what we are after. I talked a lot about the family support coordinator and your medical coordinator, but truly that staff judge advocate and school liaison also play a significant role in helping families find the right school system, find the right special education program for their child. The staff judge advocate provides a new service to our Department of the Air Force family members. They are very willing to work with families as they go through the individualized education plan process for their special education children. So family members who have a special education need, that IEP, that individual education plan, provides a roadmap to the services that that child needs in order to thrive. The staff judge advocate will gladly walk through that IEP if you believe that your child's needs are not being met, or if you feel the district is not following that plan. They'll also help you with ensuring that your rights and your child's rights are protected as you walk through this process. Many times, the staff judge advocate is able to help the family understand what they can do with the school to get compliance. They're also very willing to write letters to the district to help convey the parents' concerns in order to get folks around the table to talk through and find the ultimate solution. So don't be afraid to reach out to your local legal office to get that help. Never forget the power of the chain of command. As families, right, our chains of command work hard to ensure that family members have access to the resources they need. But that chain of command is also a valuable resource. Certainly those who have served longer than we have, who have more experience than we have, can offer solutions as we take this journey through military life. They are excellent at helping to connect families to resources. So never forget that chain of command and what they can offer you as an active duty member or as a family member. Next slide. I did want to post up that legal assistance. Again, we've helped almost 200 families over the last 18 months get to a good solution with the school district that their children were in. We found solutions to ensure that the IEP was being followed and that the appropriate accommodations were being made. So again, please feel free to reach out to your legal assistance office if there are special education concerns with your child. Next slide. So we talked about family support coordinators. We've talked about the value of our school liaisons and legal assistants. Now I want to walk through respite care benefits, another program that is out there to help our EFMP families. There has been some significant program changes, so we want to bring that out. to ensure that you are aware of those. We're also going to talk a little bit about medical readiness and ways families can stay medically ready. You never know when that assignment will hit. And finally, we'll talk about reassignment actions for families who may be at a location and it is difficult or care is non-existent for the diagnosis that their family member has, and how you can initiate that. So we're going to pass it on to, first you're going to meet Miss Ashley Martinez. She is the respite care liaison for the Department of the Air Force here in the EFMP Central Cell. Miss Ashley, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Hearn. As Ms. Hearn stated, I'm going to talk a little bit about respite care and our changes moving forward. Next slide, please. The respite care program plays a vital role in providing support to our caregivers and helping reduce the stresses associated with caring for an EFM child. In addition, the respite care program can help support EFMP families during the time of acute needs, such as deployments. As a result of DoD standardization of respite care benefits, DAF is working to recertify all eligible EFMP families who wish to continue to receive respite care benefits. The recertification process includes submitting the respite care family demographic form, as well as the respite care needs assessment form, which is completed by a medical provider. These same forms are required for families applying for respite care for the first time. Initial applications can be submitted at any time. However, as we work through the recertification process, existing families are due to submit their recertification package by 15 January 2024. Your family support coordinator serves as the primary point of contact during both the initial application and the recertification process. If your family needs an extension, please work closely with your family support coordinator to communicate that need. It's important again to note that 15 January 2024 deadline, and that's to ensure there are no interruptions in benefits. There will be times families experience a hardship where temporary relief or additional support may be needed. To better support our families, there is an option to request an exception to policy during these times. Some examples of the exception to policies that we have approved in the past are allowing services to families that would typically not qualify for benefits, granting additional respite care hours to families, and allowing families to receive respite care in a location other than their assigned duty location. We do understand the program changes and pending level of need determinations have placed increased stress on our families. We are diligently working to adjudicate all recertifications, and determinations will be communicated back to families no later than 1 March of 2024. As we focus on preparation in this presentation, families who have received their level of need determinations and would like to apply for reconsideration or an exception to policy are encouraged to start gathering additional information to submit. This additional information could be your dependent's IEP, additional medical documents, again, a memorandum from records letting us know why your family's experiencing a hardship. If the medical needs of your dependents change at any time, you are also encouraged to reapply for benefits. One thing I do want to point out is since legacy benefits will continue until 1 March of 2025, reconsiderations will be reviewed after all initial level of need determination notifications have been made to families. Making appointments with your medical provider to have the respite care needs assessment form completed not only helps with our recertification process, but also helps with overall medical readiness. I would like to welcome Tech Sergeant Clutter, who is our NCOIC of the EFMP Medical Operations, who will further discuss how your family can stay medically ready. Over to you, Tech Sergeant Clutter.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Good afternoon, everyone. As Ms. Martinez stated, I am Technical Sergeant Clutter. I am one of the medical administrators at the EFMP Central Cell. And today I'm going to share a little bit of information with you guys, how you and your family can maintain medical readiness. So the service member, we can't be ready if our family, ready for the mission if our family isn't ready. And to help with that, this To help with this, we want to provide some key points for you guys to keep your family medically ready throughout the year, throughout their service. So maintaining medical readiness is very important, whether you're anticipating a PCS or you've got a child who is about to graduate high school and go on to college. So a few ways that you can ensure family readiness is by scheduling a comprehensive physical. When we ensure each family member has a comprehensive physical by their primary care managers completed every 2 years, it can help when in the family member travel screening process, because a current physical is required for families who are completing that process. And then also obtaining medical records. For families who utilize off-base providers, it's a good practice to have by obtaining copies of your off-base medical records, and then also providing those medical records to your military treatment facilities so they can be added to your electronic health record. And one of the largest delays that we see in the travel screening process is waiting for those medical records. And having a complete electronic health record helps provide a comprehensive picture of your current medical needs during the family member travel screening process, and it helps provide a quicker travel determination. Now, closing out referrals. If you were referred to an off-base specialist, the reviewing physician will want to see those results from that referral, and if there's any additional follow-up with that specialist, and if that specialist needs additional follow-up. If you are currently using the referral, please continue to use that. Though if you choose not to use your referrals, we ask that you make sure it's closed out. Any open outstanding referrals will be taken into consideration during a screening process, whether you're using them or not. And then verifying your EFMP enrollment status. So if you believe your family member meets criteria to be enrolled or even disenrolled within the EFMP program, you should speak with your local EFMP medical office and to begin the process to verify enrollment or disenrollment. And they will complete a review for that dependent or dependents to determine if that dependent continues to meet DoD criteria for enrollment, or if they can be disenrolled from EFMP. Now, special education and early intervention summaries. So if there's a chance that you're going to be PCSing overseas during the summer months, we suggest that you make sure you complete the DD Form 2792-1 or the Special Education Early Intervention Summary Form prior to school closing out for summer break. And if your child also has an IEP or an IFSP, you should ensure that you have a signed copy of both of those plans. Since IEPs and IFSPs fall under federal law, we do not require education forms or copies of the plans for a CONUS move. Some good information to know. If within the process you need to complete the medical, education, or dental forms, we ask that you please verify that you're utilizing the 2021 versions. And you can get those forms from your EFMP medical office or even DAF Family Vector. Oftentimes, when families search Google for these forms, they tend to get the outdated versions, which are obsolete. For families traveling to an OCONUS location, MyVector will help identify which forms you'll need and that are required throughout the process. For the dental form, some locations have waived this requirement, so please make sure to check. Most of our geographically separated units and some of our CONUS sister service locations require a family member medical summary, and that's also called the DD Form 2792 to be accomplished when there are medical needs identified, or if the dependent is enrolled in EFMP. Your main points of contact will be the Losing Base EFMP office and the family support coordinators. Additional information can be found on the EFMP medical tab of DAF Family Vector. If you have any questions, about any of this information, please meet me in the medical breakout room. Thank you. Now, medical readiness is vital part of your maintaining family readiness. You may find that you're not able to get the medical or even educational service where you are, and whether you've been recently diagnosed with a new condition and that provider is not available in your local area, or your current provider can no longer manage your care, you may be able to apply for an EFMP reassignment. With us today, we have one of our Central Cell assignment navigators to give you a little bit more information about this process. Sergeant Santiago, over to you.
Thank you, Sergeant Clutter. Good afternoon or evening, everybody. My name is Staff Sergeant Santiago, and I'm an EFMP assignment NCO from the Exceptional Assignment Programs, and I'm one of the 4 assignment navigators from the EFMP assignments team. Today, I'll be talking a little bit about EFMP reassignments when care is not available. The EFMP reassignment program is designed to support military families with specialized medical and educational needs. It ensures that service members with family members requiring specialized care or services are assigned to locations where those needs can be met effectively. Unfortunately, there have been instances where EFMP families within the Air and Space Force have encountered challenges due to the limited availability or lack of appropriate resources at certain bases. This has led to difficulties in receiving necessary care or services for their exceptional family members. In these instances, an EFMP reassignment may be necessary for several reasons, such as when a newly diagnosed condition appears, a previously identified condition deteriorates, or if there's a change or loss in availability of in-network treatment options. If you're a service member with a family member who requires specialized medical or educational services, it is essential to apply for EFMP reassignment as soon as possible, ideally upon identification of the lack of available specialized care. When applying for EFMP reassignments, your local EFMP office can assist you in obtaining the following documentation. I will be needing a DD Form 2792, DD Form 2792-1, Individualized Family Service Plan or Individualized Education Plan, if applicable, an EFMP reassignment letter, and any relevant supporting medical documentation that you would like our physicians to review. Once these documents have been obtained, our airmen and guardians can apply for an EFMP reassignment through virtual MPF. Slide, please. It is important to note that the processing time for EFMP reassignments typically take 4 to 6 weeks. Potential delays might occur due to various factors such as the need for additional medical or educational documentation, the need for coordination among different departments or agencies, such as OJT retraining and cross-flow coordination, and availability of appropriate care across multiple assignments or bases. Additionally, this 4 to 6 week timeline starts from the date our team receives a complete package. The EFMP reassignment program is a critical avenue for ensuring our service members with exceptional family members receive the necessary care and support. Timely application, thorough documentation, and understanding the potential timeline and reason for potential delays are key to facilitating this process effectively. We would like to emphasize, however, that the EFMP reassignment program is not a selection based on personal preference or basic choice. Instead, its primary aim is to relocate EFMP families to locations where the necessary care and support services are available. By aligning family needs with bases equipped to provide specialized care, we maintain the essential balance between supporting our service members' families and ensuring the uninterrupted operational and mission success of the Air Force and Space Force. Finally, if you have any questions or concerns about the EFMP reassignment program, our team can be best reached to our org box at afpc.dp3xa.workflow@us.af.mil. We will also be available in one of the breakout rooms to answer any of your questions. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'll be handing it back to Ms. Hearn for some important notes and remarks before we separate into our break rooms. Back to you, Ms. Hearn.
So thank you so much, Sergeant Santiago. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that the information was helpful. Our families and stakeholders who have questions, concerns, who may be on a journey and just needs a little help. And so we'd love to connect with you. We look forward to your feedback and your questions. You guys have a great evening. And again, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation.